All right, so it's the electronic spreadsheet that we need to learn today, right? Now, so far we have learned about one particular software, which is called the word processing softwares, right? Which gives us the ability of documentation, right? How to do the documentations using mail merge and the formattings and all these things. Now, when it comes to the electronic spreadsheet, this is also containing all the facilities, or not, I'll say like most of the facilities of the word processing software regarding the formattings and page setups and printing and all these things. And moreover, electronic spreadsheet is about the calculations, right? So this gives a very big functionalities which we never learn or which we never met in the word processing softwares, which is the calculation part, right? So basically, when it comes to the accounting, the financial management things, they are basically works on the Excel. So spreadsheet, like generally, we use a spreadsheet to work with numbers and all these charts and all these things. Like it's an analytical tool, right? It's kind of an analytical tool. And as well as we heavily use that for mathematical purposes, right? So that is what we are going to learn with Excel. So like in the introduction, they are just like introducing you how the people are like into the calculations early days, like we use our fingers, then we use the abacus kind of things. Still, we don't know how to use it very well, right? And we use the calculators, right? And later with the softwares, it's the spreadsheet softwares that help us to do the calculation very easily. Like comparing to a calculator, the capability of the spreadsheet is way more over, right? It is like if the calculator is in the level 1, spreadsheet is at the level 100, right? So it is that massive. It has that much of capabilities. So we are going to learn some of those, right? Very few of those actually, but this is going to be an introduction for you. I think in the grade 8, if you have done the IT for grade 8, there is a lesson, grade 8 or grade 9, I don't really remember, right? So it is introducing you the Excel. So some advanced point than the grade 9 are we going to learn from this. But if you are familiar with the grade 9 lesson, it will be easier for you in most of the cases. And again, if you don't have any experience with the spreadsheet, don't worry, I'm going to start it from the scratch, right? All right, so there are many different advantages of the activities that we are using, that we are taking from an electronic spreadsheet. So as it shows, simple and complex calculations, presentation of data in charts, right? That's something common in both the word processing softwares and the Excel, or like the spreadsheet softwares. But when we need to represent some data in a word processing software, they indirectly take the help of a spreadsheet, right? I'll show you that as well, right? And the sorting the data in the ascending order and descending order, and we can filter data as well, right? And the segregate only the required data. So like we can like just present or like to pop up the things that we need like from out of a very big data collection, we can take only the things that we want, right? And again, we can check and validate data, right? So like if a particular number is in between this kind of range, is it larger than or less than for this kind of amount, likewise, right? And protection of data using the password, it is common in all the Office package softwares, right? And saving for future use. That's why we are using these kind of softwares, right? So before we move into the electronic application softwares, or like the spreadsheet softwares, right? Let's just have a note about the introduction. Like I need you to write down these advantages using that. So let's start writing, right? So people have the heading electronic spreadsheet. It's the 7th unit. Right. So under that, let's take these things down. Hold on. Yes, you can go with this. Have this line, so you will see what it is. I'm going to show it to you as well, right? And then after, you have to copy the advantages and the advantages, it's actually the activities, what we are going to do with the, like, by using the spreadsheet software. Right, only the highlighted part, people. So people, if you connect recently, we just wrote the heading electronic spreadsheet, and we will copy down this part starting from here in your page number 190 towards this heading. Let me know when you are done, people. All right, one is done. How about others? Okay, people, is there anyone still writing this? Right, so I'm moving forward. All right, okay, Damya. Okay. Finish it. All right, so we can move forward. So next is introducing you the different kinds of electronic spreadsheets, right? So there are many different kinds of electronic spreadsheets, which is introduced and published by the several different companies. So Excel is the one that we are going to use, which is given by the Microsoft Corporation, which comes with the Office package. And Numbers, that is for from the Apple Incorporation, where you can find in the Apple devices. And LibreOffice Calc and OpenOffice Calc, both these things are free and open source softwares. So you don't have to pay to use these LibreOffice Calc and OpenOffice Calc. You can just go and download those from their website. It's a little bit different than the Excel software that we all know and that all of us are like a little bit familiar with. But from LibreOffice Calc, Tesandu, yes, it is the Excel. We just start Excel, Tesandu. So like LibreOffice Calc and OpenOffice Calc, those are free. You can download it and use it. And Excel and Numbers, like Numbers, actually you can't download it. It's like it is given with the devices. When the device is being purchased, it is there already, right? Or else you can download it from the Apple Store, I think without a cost. And Excel, again, you have to purchase, right? You can't just purchase the Excel only, but I don't really remember that, like recently they may have released the application softwares like one after the other. Earlier it was coming as a package. It's the well-known Office package. In the Office package, they got this Word, Excel, PowerPoint, database, and some other softwares, right? So anyhow, we are going to talk about the Excel because it is the one that we are familiar with, and it is the one that is used by most of you, right? Okay, so let me open the Excel, right? So from here after, we are going to work with the spreadsheet software. And as you can see, it's going to be something similar to this. This is an older version, 2010, I guess, right? So yeah, Microsoft Excel 2010. And I'll show you the version of 2019, which is a little bit different than this, but not much, right? So here we go. So if we want to find out to search the or like to use the Excel, we have to type Excel in our Windows computer if you have installed it, right? Ravidu, like you can't take Office package without paying it. Otherwise, you have to crack it, right? So the best way is, Ravidu, you can download it from the Microsoft Office official website, and you can purchase the Office package keys, the activation keys from eBay for a very cheaper price, right? So like you just purchase one of those, like you can purchase it like around 1,000 rupees, right? They are reselling keys and there is no guarantee it will last long. But what I am using today is something that I have activated on that manner, right? So it is still working very fine now. I'm using it for like almost 2 years, right? So no harm has happened, and it is some legit way to do it, right? So like don't go for the cracking part because right, okay, then good luck allowed. Right, so yeah, Dinelka, no Buddha. It's Tesandu 2016 doesn't matter. Him get luck ne. What mono version but practicals karana puluwan, no problem. Even into from 2007, right? The only difference is like some of the commands, the places the commands have been placed in the interface can be a little bit different, right? But it's the same thing, right? And Office 365, it is a online version or like the cloud version. So still Office 365 has the same interface, right? So doesn't matter, Dinaka. You can go with the Office 365 if you have that, right? But it is not the 365 is not the 2019 version. 2019 is something else. 365 is not something else, right? Okay, so let me have the Excel, right? So here comes the Excel 2019. Now, when it comes to the Excel 2019, you have to log into the Office package using a Microsoft account. Otherwise, the facilities of this 2019 version is not activated. But if you take 2007, 2009, 2007, 2010, 2013, and 2016, I really don't have the experience with 2016. 2013, after 2013, still, you can use the things without logging into a Microsoft account. Tesandu, there is nothing called popular when it comes to the Excel. Like if you can use the most recent one, it will be much easier. That's all, right? So Office packages, then ඒක purchase කරන විදිය අනුව දැන් company එකකින් සල්ලි දීලා හිතන්නකෝ දැන් bank එකක් වගේ අරගත්තොත් a bank may need like thousands of Office activation keys because they have to use it in each and every computer, right? So if they purchase 2007 version like long way back, and still like it is a one-time purchase, right? You don't need to renew the key annually, right? It's a one-time purchase, so it will be activated for the lifetime. So sometimes some of the companies may use it that particular version until it lasts or like until it gives them a problem, right? So there is nothing called popular here, Tesandu. It's like, but the latest version will have more facilities. That's all. But when it comes to a organizational part, it will be a little bit harder for them to purchase those things annually. Can version but for an individual, yeah, comparing to his expenses, it will be a less cost for him to do. So he can experience the new things. Even in Microsoft, what we call the corporation, they are just allowing us to use this product as a trial for like 1 month of a period. So you can experience how it is. Then if you want, you can purchase it, right? Okay, so this is the way of my spreadsheet when it is been populated. So you can see the Excel is here. So home, new, open, things are there. So like that's why I told you it's a little bit different from the your textbook interface. And it has blank workbook, right? And it has the templates, right? So you can go, or you can work with a blank workbook, or you can find a templates. Now templates is just allowing you the formatting kind of things, so you can use those templates in an effective manner, right? So like there are many kinds of things like kind of budget concern things, and the expenses charts, Gantt charts, flow charts kind of things. There are many different things that you can manage with Excel. So if your requirement suits with any of these templates, you can use them, or otherwise you can just create a blank workbook and you can use it, right? And as well as I couldn't told you the cloud version of the spreadsheets. Now, there is a free cloud version which is given by the Google, which we name as Sheets, right? So it is something very similar to this to the Excel, right? And I'm doing most of my things using the Sheets, right? So if you take a blank workbook, so it is something very similar to the Excel, but there are some differences, right? Unlike the Excel, but from this we can do like almost everything that can be done by the Excel, right? So if you have a Gmail account, this is free for you to do it. So Gmail account is free again, and you can use this particular software, right? Okay, so today we are going to work with a blank workbook. So that is the way that we are going to work with the Excel. So I'm going to take the blank workbook by clicking it. So this is the interface. So as I told you, as the textbook describes you, this is like the more space is working as a square rule book or a square rule page, right? And these little squares are there, those are called cells, right? And like we find in the word processing software, we have these menus at the top of it, like not the menus, actually these are called the ribbons, right? So these ribbons are there. So you can work with these kind of ribbons, right? Or the tabs. So the tabs are having groups, and you may familiar with these things, like clipboard was there in the word processing software, if you remember. Font was there, right? And the alignment was there, like most of the things, right? And you are getting a new group called the number, right? Which is providing the number formats. And some conditional formats, we are not much into it in our syllabus, right? So some other cells editing kind of things are there, right? Even when you move to the insert, like there are some insertion of table, insertion of illustrations, right? Like pictures, shapes, icons, 3D, smart art kind of things, right? And the most important part is the chart, which we are going to learn how to create a chart, right? Those kind of things. And draw is something specific to me, right? And page layout, as we talk about in the Word, like the margins, the orientation, the size, right? Those things are there, right? They got this new tab called formula. we are going to learn about some of the formulas, some important ones, right? So there are many different formulas in the Excel where you can use it in a very useful manner when we are doing the calculation parts. And data and review, it is something, data is something unique over here. Review and view, we had those things in the word processing software as well. So according to our level, we are mostly working with the home and we are going to do with the insert when we are learning the charts. And that's all that we are working with the Excel. But it is capable of many different things, and you can search these things, do experiments with these things, and you can learn further, right? The draw tab means, I think it is only enables with the computers which has the touch screen ability, right? So I can use my pen and like write on the things, write the touch pen and write the things, but I think it won't be available in the computers which does not have the drawing ability. I don't know, maybe 2009, I didn't search for that, right? In most of the cases, it may not available with the computers which does not have. If you are having the two, now, as I know, Draw is available with the 2019 version onwards. If you got 2016, it may not have the drawing ability or the tab. Yeah, that's what I know about this. Okay, so let's get to know about the other things. Now in here, now in Excel, like after these groups, you have this white color boxes, which is a small one and which is a bigger one, right? So, and this incorrect, cancel, and the enter one is there, something called FX is there. So you are going to learn about these things. And I'm going to take your attention into this small box, which you can see B2 for the moment. Let me have the magnifier. Right, so it shows B2. Now if I click on this particular cell, it becomes A1. If I click on this particular cell, it becomes A3. If I print, if I click on this particular cell, it becomes F5. So now people, this is called the name box, and name box will indicate the active cell of my Excel or my spreadsheet, right? So whenever we click on a particular cell, the name of that cell appears here. So how this name is defined, right? Or the, yes, there's a cell address, right? How the cell address or the name of the cell is defined. So you have this column headers, which is named with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and it will continue into a very last end of the Z. After the Z, it's going to be AA, right? You know how this works, like it's like the number plates of the vehicles, right? A, B, A, C, A, D. Likewise, if you press Control and the right arrow key, it will move to the very last one. So they got XFD as the very last one, right? If you press again the Control key and the left arrow button, it will move to the very first column. So these are called the column headers, columns and column headers. And it has rows as well, and rows has row headers, which is given by the integers starting from 1, 2, and it will continue. So how far it's going to continue? Press Control and down arrow button, it will go to the very last row. So what's the number? It's like 1,048,576. Right? So you can have 1 million plus lines. I think it is not ever been used for some purpose, right? But it is capable of that. And if you press Control and up arrow key, it will straight away go to the very first cell of your Excel sheet, right? So like it's going to be like this always, the cells. So your cells can be selected when you move your mouse pointer to the middle of a cell and click and drag. You can click and drag horizontally, vertically, and as well as diagonally, right? You can like select any number of cells like this. So these are congested ones, or like the contiguous ones. If you want to select the cells like from here and there, you can use the Control key, CTRL key. Press the CTRL key and you can press the places you want. It's not only the cells. If you want a cell range to be selected, yeah, so it can be selected here and there just by pressing the CTRL key. So I'm pressing the CTRL key and just selecting the places, right? And when I like select contiguous cells, like the cells which are staying together like this is called a cell range, right? So there are different kinds of cell range that you can use. You can select things on a row, as well as you can select things on a column, as well as you can select things like this, right? So this the horizontal range, or like any range, whether it is horizontally or vertically selected, we define that range by saying the first, or like the left side cell address first, and put a colon and put in the very right side cell at the end. So if this range can be called the C2. C2 is the one. Let me take the magnifier. Some of you may not. So this is in the C column, the second row. So this is called the C2 column. So it is from C2 to G2. So we indicate it like C2 colon G2, the range, right? And if you think about this range, the vertical range is it starts from the 4. So it starts from C4 and it continues until 10. So it is C4 colon C10, right? So the horizontal one, it is C2 colon G2, and the vertical one, it is called the C4 colon C10. And look at this range. Now it has several number of columns and several number of rows. So to give such area, or to give such range, we are considering the first cell as the left top cell, which is the white color one over here, which says the F4, and the end of the range is defined by the right bottom cell. So it's called the H8. So this range can be told like F4 colon H8, right? So likewise, we can define the ranges. You will need those ranges when we are working with the formulas. So get to know there are ways that these ranges are being introduced. Is that clear, people? Yes, everyone, any questions so far? Right, great. Okay. Right. Now I want to take your attention to the very end of this spreadsheet, or like the bottom of this spreadsheet, right? You can see the name sheet 1 is over here and plus mark is there. So if I click on these plus marks, it's going to give me some sheets. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. So these are 3 different sheets, right? If I print something over here like ABC, and it's not over here, so EFG, and here HIJ. So these are 3 different sheets, like the pages of a book, right? So this is something unique for Excel sheets. So you can take sheets as much as you want. I really don't remember what's the limit of that, right? As well as if you don't want any sheet, you can delete that sheet, right? If the sheet does not contain in anything, any data, if you right click on the sheet and go to the delete option, it will just delete it. Now you can see this sheet 3 contains some data. So when I'm saying it to delete, it is giving me an warning message saying Microsoft Excel will permanently delete this sheet. Do you want to continue? So it is because I'm having data on this. So if I say yes, go ahead, so it will be deleted. As well as if you double click on the sheet name, you can rename it, right? Or else you can right click on a particular sheet and choose the rename option as well, right? So if I name this as ABC and press enter, it will become the sheet ABC. So if I name this as 11B, right? So, and press enter, so it will become the 11B sheet. So likewise, you can take sheets as much as you want. You can remove sheets in case if you don't want, right? And you can rename the sheets as well. And by just clicking on a sheet name, click and drag, it will allow you to change the sheets, right? The order, right? If I take another sheet and if I name it as XYZ and press enter, and if I want to move this XYZ sheet as the very first one, so I click on the name and move it. You can see a very small arrowhead moving here and there. Let me show it to you by using the magnifier. So see XYZ, see this arrowhead moves and shows where it's going to be. So if I release my mouse button, I'm still staying with pressing my mouse button in the drag mode. If I release it here, so XYZ will be here. So if I want to move 11B after the ABC, click and drag it to the end. So likewise, I can create the sheets and move the sheets as I want, right? And the very last line, this ash color bar, which shows you as ready, it shows you the status of this Excel sheet, right? So like later you will see, like when we are writing some formula, it shows us the result of that formula and all these things, right? You will get to know about those when we are doing those things, right? So for the moment, just remember that is called the status bar, right? And at the right hand side of the same bar, you can see some 3 different modes of this Excel sheet. So the first one is the normal mode, the mode that you can see. And the next one is the page layout mode. If I click on it, so you can see the Excel sheet page by page, right? So you can add headers, right? You can add footers like we did in the word processing software, right? And those kind of things. And the last one is the page break view. A page break view means like in the Word, we could see the pages being breaked, like we could see the pages page by page, right? But in Excel, it won't show you. It won't show you the things, right? So there will be problems where we have to, like, there will be situations where we need to know, like, are we like moving away from the page, or like are we having the content like beyond the page size, right? So for that, this particular view can be used, page break view. So it will show from where the pages are being breaked. Right now, it should need the data in the page. Otherwise, it will show just the data content, right? So when you have a lot of data on it, so it will show how many pages that it's going to be breaked. And if you recognize, once after I have that page break and have the normal view, here you can see a dotted line which indicates the page break now. See? So this is the margin. It is not appearing generally. So once we move to the page break and then we move back, it shows. So like from the cell number 1 to cell number 80, I guess. Yeah. Up to cell number 94 has its size, right? So it is a one big page. Oh, did it move over here? I'm sorry, people. It's not the 90s, it's 47. So starting from cell number 1 to cell number 47 is the first page margin, right? So now they can have the idea whether they are exceeding the page or not, right? So how we are going to take that? Just by toggling to the page view and toggling back to the normal view. Right? Okay, people, is it clear so far? Yes, everyone? All right, great. Okay, and as we see it on the Word, we have this zoom controller, right? Which is giving us the ability to increase and decrease the sizes, right? As well as like it has this shortcut menu, or like the quick access toolbars, right? So we can add the things into these and we can remove. So generally the save button, undo button, and redo button is available. In my computer, I have touch mode as well, right? And when you save the Excel workbook, the name will appear over here. So far this is not been saved. So that is why this is called book 1. So how I'm going to save this? I can go to file as usual. This is the same way that we save the Word file. And I'll go and choose save for the very first time. So it will give me the facility to choose the place in my computer. So I browse it. Generally, it's better you browse. Otherwise, in my version, it shows the recent places that I visit. So if I want to go for a different place, I can browse. Like some of your, like the older versions will straight away give this particular window, right? Which will allow you to find or like choose a place. So I'll choose desktop. And I can give a name to the Excel sheet over here. So I say grade 11, I'm sorry, grade 10 Star Labs, right? And I can save it. So now you can see the name grade 10 Star Labs appear over here. Earlier it was book 1. And you can see the extension as well. It's better you concentrate on the extension as well. It is called XLSX. That is the Excel extension. Earlier, like before 2007, this extension was given as XLS, only 3 letters. Like from 2007 onwards, it gives us the extension XLSX. And people, do you remember what's the extension for the Word documents? What it should be? Yes, anyone? Yeah, it is DOCX. Very good. Right, so the DOCX is the latest one, as I told you, like after the 2007, it was DOCX. Before 2007, it was DOC, right? Just 3 letters, right? All right, so let's move to the other part. So we get to know about the interface. We know now there are tabs, cells, and we have to work with those things, right? So for your convenience, I'm going to increase the size of these, some of these cells. So I can select the cell range and I can increase the font size. So it will be bigger and you will be able to see it much clearer when I'm copying or like when I'm typing something, right? And these column widths and the row heights, those can be changed, right? The easiest way to change that is the taking your mouse pointer at the margin of 2 columns, like the middle point. So your mouse pointer get changed like this. So mouse pointer is changed like this. So click and drag it here and there. So the size of your column is going to change. Same goes with the rows. So just take it to the middle of the rows and just click and drag. So you can change the height of a particular row, right? Or else I just undo it to take it to the previous step. Or else you can just clicking on the column head will select the entire column. Entire column means from the first column to the very last, from the first cell to the very last cell. Yeah, Ositma, yeah, I'm going to tell it to you, Dua, right? So from the first cell to the very last cell, the selection will happen if you click on the column headers, right? If you click on the row headers, it's going to select the entire row at once, right? And if you want to select multiple columns or multiple rows, you can click on the column headers and just drag. So it will select different number of columns. If you want to select number of rows, you can do the same. Click on the row header and drag it down. If you want to select the entire sheet, can you see little triangle over here? Right, there's a small triangle. So click on that. It will select the entire page. Right, and this works a little bit weird when we are having the content, not actually the weird, it's the way it is working. So when we are having the content on an Excel sheet, if you click on this triangle for the very first time, just a single click, it will select the data area only, the places where the data has. So the area actually the data has. And if you click it again, then it will select the entire, select the entire page. It will select the entire page, right? So as Ositma asked, how do we going to change the size of like all the columns, so like several columns? It's easy. Like you have to select these columns that you want. You can select it together. If you want to select randomly here and there, just select the control key, press the control key and do the selection. Here I am just selecting the cells from A to J. Then in this cells group, it has this format option. So click on that. Then it is saying the row height, auto fit row height, column width, auto fit column width. So if you want to have your own width to these columns, just select on the column width. So it will gives you a small box with a number of it. So that this number says the column width for the moment. So it says 8.9 in my case, right? So I'll change this into 15. Right, so once I press OK, you can see the columns from A to J has a new width, and those are identical from column A to column J, right? So here I am pressing the OK button. There you go. So this is the identical sizes of the cells from A to J. So rest of the things still it is in the same size, smaller way. Right? Or sigma, is that clear, Dua? Right. Okay, so so now I have changed my spreadsheet in the way I want. So like some basic tools, if I remember these things, this can be used to change your the font type, right? And this can change the sizes. As you know, this can increase the size. This can decrease the size of the font. Bold, italic, underline is there. So underline in styles, only 2 styles are available to the Excel. You can remember that Word had several different styles, but here single line underline and double line underline is there, right? Double underline is there. And borders, it is something special, like something important in the Excel, because even though you can see these lines in the Excel sheet or the spreadsheet, if you just go to the printing area, right? If you try to print this, like yes, here they say like they don't find anything to print. Like, let me type something, ABC. Here we go, file and print. So you can see there is no any lines on your page being displayed. So that those lines on the page, that as you can see, it is just a guidance for us, right? So we can use that guidance, but it won't reflect, or it won't be a part of the printout, right? Printout will just show your content, the things that you have written or the things that you have placed, right? And if you really want to show some of these borders, so you better select the area that you want to show the borders and just go to the borders and active the borders, right? So by clicking on all borders, you will be able to have the borders. So you have some variations like top border, bottom border, left, right, things. So you can do it as you want. But now somehow we have activated the borders of these cells. So now if you like go to the file and go to the print, now you can see the borders, right? So that is why the borders are there, right? And here like you can remember there were like 2 types of colors in the word processing software, which is the highlight color and the font color. And here we have fill color and the font color, right? So the fill color will fill the colors, or like will fill a color to a particular cell. If I press yellow, it will fill with the yellow. If I select these and select a separate color like green, it will fill the colors. Now you can see once the colors have been filled, you can't see the margins, right? You can see these lines inside it. So it is just filled, but it is not just one big cell. There are ways that we can make it as a one big cell, right? We are going to learn those, right? But it is just filling things up, right? And font colors, as usual, like I can select this ABC, like you can remember, like in word processing software, we have to select the particular word specifically to apply a color. But here in the Excel, we only need to select the cell. Then we can give the colors that we want. So it will take that particular color onto it. right? So no need to select the things. But again, if you want to change a color of a particular letter, then of course you have to select that letter. So if I need this ABC in 3 different colors, of course you can select the ABC in like this, and you can change the colors likewise, right? So whatever we are going to type will be typed on the cells, right? So they are having uh, the alignments, right? So earlier you may have remember, let me make this a little bit bigger, right? And a little bit higher, right? So earlier you may have remembered there were 3 alignment tools, which is called the left, right, and the center. So we have that left, center, and right. But when it comes to a cell, it has a vertical alignment too, like we had in on a table, right? And the vertical table, it has bottom, middle, and up. So you can using the vertical alignment as well as the horizontal alignment, you can place the object in a much nicer way inside a cell, right? According to your requirement, right? So that is called the alignment tools. And as well as I can turn my letters on a particular cell by using this cell alignment tool, right? Orientations. So actually this is the text orientation, not the page orientation thing. So it is given me several different ways, right? So I can angle it to a clockwise. I can angle it to a counterclockwise, right? Dakshinavarto, Vamavarto. And I can arrange the text vertically like this. So it will be arranged like this, A, B, C. And or else I can rotate up, like we can ABC, and I can rotate down, text down, right? So these kind of things are there. And even though like, even I can change the angle as I want, right? You can see like orientation is right over here, right? So it has some degrees over here. So you can change the degrees, or like you can just click on this red dot and take it to the place that you want. So it will indicate this is 75, this is 60, 45 and 46, yeah, 30, 15, likewise. So if I turn it to like degrees 30, right? And if I press OK, yeah, my letters are being angled onto that manner, right? This is all these formattings are upon your request, right? ඔයගලන්ට change කරගන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද? ඒකට අදාළ විදිහට මෙයා change කරන්න උදව් කරලා දෙන්න, right? And again, you have this indentation, right? So the you can type things by having an indent. So likewise, let me. Yeah, if I increase the indent, you can see it has been moved along the cell. If I decrease it, so I can cancel the indentation that I gave it. It's not the alignment that it's changed. මම කොච්චර indent කරත් මගේ alignment එක change වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Now මේ මෙතන මෙයා මේ පැත්තේ තියෙන, it is because I indented, not because I right aligned, right? And here I can clear the indentation, or like back indent can be happened. And wrap text. Now this wrap text, it is much useful. Now if I type something lengthier in this cell, like ABC, like C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, you can see it overflows, it floods. M, N, O, P, likewise, right? And if I type something meaningful, index number, and just remember a situation, just think about a situation that my index number is like this big. It is the maximum size, but the name is going like further than that. So if I want to take index number to like having number just below the index කියන වචනේ යටින් number කියන වචනේ type කරගන්න ඕන වුණොත් I can't use enter key. Enter key won't break the line like we did in the word. So to do that, I'm given this wrap text option. So once I wrap the text, it will set its size according to the column width, right? Just see what happens. See, so index number, NUMBE is only there, ER should be at the below. See, so it is because my cell is not enough to show the word number, so it breaks. So if I change this column width a little bit, so I can have index and number over here. And if I increase the size of this column, it arranges the things. Since there are room, it goes with the one particular column. But if I limit the room, it's going to move the values, right? So if I decrease, if I increase it like this, yeah. So like this, it's going to be, right? Okay, that is what you call wrap text, right? And again, there is something called merge and center. Now, actually, this is merging. One of the facilities are merge and center, that is the by default one. And there are several other mergings as well, merge across, merge cells, unmerge cells, likewise. So what do you mean by merging? Like merging will allow you to add some other cells together and to have that, right? So like if I want to use these three cells together, right? So I can use the merge option. First I'll show you what's happened with the merge cells, right? So I have selected A, B, and C. So you can see when my when I have select the A1, you can see A1 over here. When I click on this yellow color box, the B1 will be here, and in the this particular cell, C1 will be here. I'll choose these three and use merge cells. Did you see what happens? Earlier it was like this, and once I merge it, my colors are gone. The text that was there in the first cell is spread all over these cells. And if I type something over here, let me say I'll say name. Now, if I merge this, merge cells, right? And if I just say merge cells, it's going to give me a warning message. What's the warning message says? Merging cells only keeps the upper left value and discard other values. What does it mean? It means it's going to keep the very first cell content only. So according to this range, this is the very first cell's content. Now, if I choose these three cells plus these three cells which is under it, so like I have two columns, I'm sorry, I have two rows and three columns, right? Altogether 6 cells. Still, the index number is the one which survives when I'm merging these things together, right? So I can click and merge cells. So again, it will give me the warning, and I should have that idea. If I press OK, I'm going to lose all the details in all other 5 cells, only the index number will be there. So with knowing that, I'll press OK. So all 6 cells now are being merged. And the beauty of this is, if you click on it, all 6 cells are being selected at once, and the value or the address is referred as A1, right? Then make a B1, C1, or A2, B2, C3, because all these 6 cells are merged together. So like A1 will be the only one that you can see. Okay, people, is that clear about some formattings? Yes, people? Right. Okay, great. So let's move to your textbook and see what we have missed. Yeah, we haven't talked about the formula bar yet. We are going to talk about it, right? And I think we talked about all other things like quick access toolbar, title bar, ribbons, control buttons. We know the control buttons, the minimize, the maximize, and the closing button. Right? Help was there. I'll show you the help. Active cells, name box, insert functions, which is like at the right side of the formula bar, the tabs, column headings, row headings, right? Horizontal scroll bars, vertical scroll bars, you have seen those things. And the worksheet navigation, yes, the navigation is, the navigation was available with me. Yeah, the navigation is there, right? So, and the tabs, the status bar, and the view buttons, the zoom controllers, right? We talk about these things, right? And yeah, so we are about to talk about the formula bar. I'll show you something regarding the formula bar. Like, other than that, we talked about almost everything. And this is the LibreOffice. You really don't need to like go through this, because when the questions are there in your paper, they are not referring to any of the softwares. They are just checking the concept, whether you know how to do this, right? And the components and the functions are there. You really don't need to worry about that, because we just saw how the things happens. And we talk about the worksheet as well. And the column namings, we talked about it, how these things have been changed. The column names like ABC, then after AA, AB, AC. So likewise, it goes up to like XCD, as I remember. And the rows, we talked about it. It's going like over 1 million number of rows, right? So these are the numbers that they are telling us. And we talked about the active cell as well, and how to recognize that particular cell, right? And scrolling, we just talked about control and arrow keys, but we didn't go with the home, control N, page up, page down, and things. Let's look around those things. We talk about the cell addresses, and we talk about the ranges as they illustrate over here, right? So we discuss about these kind of ranges, right? And yeah, it's about to show how the data entering is happening. Like, before that, we'll go through about those shortcuts, right? Or the key combinations. What's happened? You know what happened with the control and arrow keys. It helped us to move the very first cell, the very last cell of a row, and like the very top cell and a very bottom cell of a column. All right. So yeah, let me change the formats by pressing the undo. So like, it will be there as it was there at the first place. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. Right. Now, what I need you to do is, like, I'm placing my active cell over here in E4, and I'm pressing my control left arrow button. Just see where it's going to move, right? Control and right arrow key button. So it goes to the XFD of the 4th row. That means the existing row. In a row, right? So if I press Control and left arrow key, it goes to the very first cell of the particular row. And if I place my active cell on here, like E6, if I press Control and down arrow key, it goes the same column. It goes the very last cell of the same column, the column E. And if I press Control and up, it goes the very top cell of that particular column, right? In a column එකේ තැනට තමයි යන්නේ. Right, and let's go with the other combinations. They were like asked to work with the home button and the control home and control ends and the page ups and page downs, right? So to do this, I need to have some data over here, right? So I'll put some random data. Tesandu, I'm not getting that. Are you asking like what happens when we are doing those things in the PDF or like the Adobe Reader? Right. Meanwhile, I'll give some data right over here and there. Right. So now I'll place my active cell right over here at the middle of the data. Let me have something over here as well. I'll place my cursor right over here. I'm sorry, the active cell right over here. And I'm going to press the home button. Home button. H-O-M-E, home. So here I'm pressing. So home button moves my active cell to the very first cell of that row. Right? I'm going to press the home button again. I'm at the C5 cell for the moment. So home button here I go. Home button. It goes to the A5 cell. And if I place the active cell again in the C5, if I press N button, oh yeah, it doesn't do anything. It actually does some things. Hold on, I tell you what it is. Yeah. Now, if I'm here, you have to look very closely what happens. I'll take the magnifier as well. So now I'm at the C3, column C, no, C5, column C5. And look at my status bar. It just say ready. Just say ready, right? Ready. So if I press the N button, E-N-D, end, nothing is happened here, but you can see after ready, there is something called N mod. And when I move my cursor to the mouse pointer to the N mod, it says use arrow keys to quickly move to the end. Right? Now what I will do, my N mod is on. If I press the down arrow key, it will quickly move to the DEF. Just see, I'm pressing the down arrow key once. See, so it moves to the DEF. Even if I place my active cell over here, end key is pressed, so the N mod is activated. So I'm pressing the down arrow key. Straight away goes to the very down data, right? The data which is at the very end of my data area, right? So that is the thing which is done by the end and the arrow key. And later, they are asking us to play with the home and end keys by pressing Control CTRL. So I'm pressing the Control key now. And here I'm pressing the home button. What happens? Goes to the very top, or like the left top, or in other words, A1 column straight away. A1 ගාවට එක සැරේ යනවා. I press the I select the B file. I'm pressing Control and home. Here it goes to the A1, right? And I placed my active cell on B4, and I'm pressing the Control and end button, Control and end. It goes to the end of my page. So yes, it is the end of my page, which is the J19, right? Yeah, that's a little bit awkward. Let me see what is the move to bottom right cell of the data range. Move the cell to A1 position. Yeah. So like bottom, yeah, I was thinking why it is moved over here. Sometimes it is because of this formatting part, right? So it says move the cell to the bottom range. It's not good to say like it's moved to the bottom of the data range. So bottom of the data range will be somewhere here, not here. Let's take another cell and if we press Control End, yes, look at that. Let me do it over here and see whether it works. Control End. No, I think it's due to the formattings. Oh yes, Tesandu. එහෙම වෙන්න පුළුවන්. That is the only reason that we can think, right? Tesandu කියන එක හරි. මොකද J වල 19th වෙනකන් තියෙන එකම format එක. ඒක නිසා ඒ format එක. ඒතකොට ඇත්තටම මෙතන එන්න ඕනේ move to bottom right cell of data range කියලා නෙවෙයි එන්න ඕනේ. Like move to the bottom right cell of same format. කියන තැනට තමයි එන්න ඕනේ. But when we don't have a range, when we are not change anything, right? If I put some data over here, මෙතන තියෙන කට්ටියම පොඩ්ඩක් copy කරලා ගන්න. Right? ඔහොම තියෙනකොට if I press Control End, see it moves over here. So formattings නැතුව තියෙනකොට book, what the book says is true. මේකේ data range එක ඕක මෙයා මෙතනට තමයි move වෙන්නේ. කොතන හිටියා. මෙතන ඉඳලා Control End එක දැම්ම it's going to go to the same place. Right? And from this point, if I press Control Home, it's going to the very top, or like the A1 cell. ඒක කොහේ හිටියද එතනට එනවා. Right? මෙතන ඉඳලා මම Control Home තිබ්බා. It comes to the very first one, right? And this page up and page down moves the worksheet on, move the worksheet one screen up, move the worksheet one screen down, right? So yeah, so just see, now you can see from cell 1 to cell 21 over here, right? If I place my active cell or the cell right over here, if I press page down, yeah, it moves to the 22nd cell. Earlier it was from 1 to 21. Then මෙතන ඉවරනේ 42nd cell again. If I place it over here and press page down, it's the 43rd cell that I can see, or 43rd row that I can see. So page up and page down will move one page per time. Now if I press page up, it will move by just one particular page page up. So it's from 42 to 22. Again, page up, 21 to 1. So that is how the moving has happened, right? So yeah, so those are the functions from these arrow keys, control arrow keys, and all these things, right? And just arrow keys, you know what is happening. Just arrow keys, it is just moving one cell up, one cell down, one cell right, one cell left, right? Only a cell by cell. The arrow keys will allow you to move like after a cell by cell, right? Okay, so those are the basic part of the Excel. So we talked about the cell addresses, like we talk about ranges and all these things, and the data. I'll introduce you the data, the very basic data, and we have to talk about some data formats here as well, right? But I'm not going to talk about those, but I'll just introduce you the things and end the session, and we can talk about those things later on next week, right? So I want you to concentrate of these three things that I'm typing, right? So first thing is I just type only a text, ABC. It's a text, and once I press enter, it will move to the next cell, and you can see now ABC is left aligned. And if I say 1, 2, 3 and press enter, you can see it's automatically aligned to the right. So these are called text, which is the text-based thing, or else if we just type a particular text and a number like A4, still it is left aligned, and values will be right aligned. And look at the formula bar. This is called the formula bar. So formula bar shows you, if I click on the A1, it will show you the content ABC. If I press B1, it will show you the content. If I press C1, it will show you the content. So formula bar is just showing the content when there is no any formula. Later we will learn to write a formula. We need to use equal sign. We need to start from equal sign. I'll show you a very basic formula. I'll say 2 plus 3 equals 2 plus 3. And look closely what happens when I press enter. Now here I'm going to press enter. What happens? This shows you 5. And look at the formula bar. Formula bar is showing the equation or the formula. So the cell shows you the result, formula bar shows you the formula. So whenever a particular cell is containing a formula, you can see it on the formula bar, right? So those are the data types that we majorly present, or like majorly going to talk in the Excel sheet. In the next week, we are going to talk about this number group, and it has different kinds of formattings, number formattings, right? Where you need to learn about all those things, right? And there is something called fill handle in the regarding a particular cell, this little square. This is called the fill handle. And I'm going to talk about the fill handle next week as well, right? It will simply allow you to copy the things, right? I'll show you something. You can do it and see what's the nature of this fill handle. Look at this. It is very easy for you to copy things from one cell to another adjacently, right? And I'll show you something else as well. I'm going to talk about this by next week. Look at this. 1, 2 is there. I'll choose those two and I'm copying it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. right? And as I remember, this is working as well. Yeah, it's working. See, so the fill handle is there. I'll tell you about the fill handle. Be curious. And if you got Excel, just see what the fill handle is capable of. So I'll see you on next week for the same time, people. We are going to talk about the Excel and we are going to talk about the formattings and all these things, right? Okay, thank you very much for today. I will see you next week for the very same time, right? Okay. Have a nice weekend, people, and stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Right,
Have a
okay,
nice day.
right, okay. Right, okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much.